Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Mani Shresht, working as Assistant Professor at Haryana School of Business, GJ University of Science and Technology, Hisar. Today, we are going to discuss about the topic compensation for flexible workforce. Before starting the discussion, let's have a look at the contents. The discussion will start with the introduction of the topic, followed by need for a flexible workforce arrangement, definition of flexible workforce, compensation of flexible workforce, compensation survey, process of compensation, and broadbanding. After completing this module, the students will be able to understand meaning of flexible workforce, need for a flexible workforce, meaning of compensation survey. Flexible workforce has become a significant element in present times employment market. It involves part-time employees, temporary workforce, leased employees, contractors, and work from home individuals, freelancers, and consultants. Studies reveal that 80% of the employees use some or other form of flexible staffing arrangement. Organizations follow this trend to catch up with the rapidly changing demands of the business and fluctuating supply of right kind of workers at the right place. Such flexible arrangement give organizations a liberty to meet their production needs more efficiently. This setup also allows settling labor issues related to geographical and cultural diversity. On the other hand, workers are at the ease of their comfort zone and can enjoy their desired flexibility while earning handsome compensation. To conclude, it can be said that it is a win-win situation for the organization as well as the workers and also for the overall economy. The flexible workforce gives privilege to organizations to design their workforce dynamically to meet the ever-changing requirements of the global workplace. Flexible workforce arrangements provide a win-win situation to the employer and the employee. This system gives ample opportunities to workers on one hand and provides a stable work environment to employers on the other, while limits unexpected layoffs too. For workers, flexible workforce arrangement may be needed by workers for the following reasons: to attend school, to meet personal obligations, to provide their expertise to more than one organization, to earn better, adjust working hours as per own convenience, to work in seasonal industries, to work for a short period of time, to enter a particular workforce, to obtain experience, to acquire expertise, and to provide quality services to companies' non-core activities. Flexible workforce arrangement might be needed by the organization for the reasons such as availability of expert workers even for a small job. Suppose an organization has hired a specific number of full-time workers. As need arises, they can be supplemented with flexible workforce. It can control costs like that of regular salaries, health coverage, perks, etc. Get an opportunity to switch in case of inefficient delivery from one person. As a business strategy for unpredictable business situations, organizations often reevaluate their workforce so as to create a balance between full-time and flexible workforce. They are regularly competing for workers, and in some industries, flexibility of workforce is the only available option to fulfill the demand. In order to meet the consumer demand, larger workforce is needed. For example, the demand for garden equipment goes up during spring. Manufacturers have to create additional inventory in anticipation. Here, the flexible workforce proves to be a blessing. Similarly, restaurant and retail stores need larger staff during festivals and holidays. Flexible workers are hired to meet such demands and pick up extra earnings conveniently. This helps them fill the gap period between jobs and also allows them to meet their personal obligations or maybe entering the workforce. Another requirement is attracting and retaining quality workers demand flexibility. Highly skilled workers prefer to switch between projects as well as organizations. This is particularly relevant in technology, engineering and healthcare professions. Here we call them as knowledge workers. Also, to providing jobs in a weakened economy and filling temporary gaps in the workforce, organization needs flexible workforce arrangements. Traditionally, employment means working for an organization full-time for a specified number of hours against a well-defined remuneration. In contrast, a flexible workforce arrangement allows flexibility in time, work per day, per week, or per month. Tenure of employment is not fixed, place of work varies, remuneration is not fixed. Flexible workforce systems are different from traditional workforce arrangements in various ways. A study by the Employment Benefit Research Institute differentiates flexible work system from traditional work system in three ways, that is time, permanency and social contract. Flexible workforce means anything other than 8-hour 5-day week system. Anything other than a permanent employment is treated as flexible. And in terms of social contract, flexibility does not demand any commitment from the organization in the name of protection or coverage. A combination of these variables create a wide range of work options that are suitable to meet the needs of employer and employees. Owing to the change in work cultures from traditional methods to these kind of flexible arrangements, the concept of a job for life has shifted to job at will. The techies are not fighting for jobs, jobs are fighting for them. Till now, there is hardly any systematic definition to describe flexible workforce. Generally, flexible workforce is used to refer to a large mass of non-traditional work arrangements that prevail in the global workplace. It is the variation in conditions of employment that justify the name flexible workforce. Compensation management as a whole is a complex task. Flexible workforce adds a little more spice to the work of human resource management. One of the lasting impacts of the consumerization of IT is a workforce for which flexibility is right and not a privilege. If an employer can add perks like telecommuting, bring your own device, work from home, flexible work hours to do the job, then the employer is preferred by prospective employees as a forward-thinking, generous employer where all would be ready to work. Although these flexibilities may sometimes pose a serious challenge in tracking performance and managing compensation. The compensation management program employed for such employees has to directly link salary to the output and productivity. With granular management, employers have to be very meticulous, not ignoring the minutest granule. This automatically creates a very productive and process-driven workforce as well as human resource. Most organizations have modified their compensation models to conquer the talent acquisition game. Before developing a competitive compensation level, structure and system, every organization should check out the prevailing market rates or the rates offered by the competitors. For creating a competitive yet attractive compensation system, it is important that organization thoroughly explores the prevalent market rates. A salary survey seeks to establish rates of pay for particular occupation within given industrial sector. Only a competitive compensation package can attract and retain competent workforce. Compensation survey helps the organization in understanding few aspects like information about all the components of compensation like basic pay, perks, allowances, incentives, modes of payments, etc. And units under consideration should be comparable in at least some manner like size, nature, geographical location, or maybe philosophy involved in compensation calculation. It is also important that the type of survey used is analyzed and interpreted carefully, keeping in mind the quality and scope of information desired. Compensation surveys could be informal and external based on the requirement. After selection of jobs to be surveyed, relevant markets are identified, criteria for organization selection is determined, heads for information collection are planned, data is collected and the survey is administered. There are several objectives of compensation survey such as to establish organization's external compensation policy, to determine the issues to be addressed in a survey, to design and conduct surveys, to interpret and apply survey results, to design, arrange flat rates, incentives, and adjusting the structure to balance internal, external, and individual equity. Compensation survey. The main objective of compensation survey is to determine the external equity of compensation by an organization. It helps in benchmarking an organization's compensation philosophy, level, structure, and system parameters with other comparable organizations. There are various types of compensation surveys such as informal survey. Informal surveys are conducted in a formal and friendly manner by using personal contacts with other comparable organizations or exchanging mutual information on issues related to compensation. Under this method, information is searched from organizations in the same industry or different industries. This method of survey helps to get more specific and accurate information in shorter period of time. It involves very less cost and therefore organizations carry out these surveys very frequently. But the major limitation of informal survey is that quality and reliability of information collected through informal survey largely depends upon the level of trust and understanding of mutual exchange. Some organizations do not share compensation related information for higher positions. Moreover, informal survey is not suitable when the number of jobs to be compared is too large. External survey. Under this method, compensation surveys are conducted by external surveyors or individuals. External surveys are mostly conducted by professional associations for the benefits of their members. Separate surveys are conducted for different sectors like textile, IT, etc. External surveys are also conducted by management consultants or firms specialized in external surveys. These firms charge a fee from its clients for conducting external surveys on their behalf. Examples of firms which carry external surveys are McKinsey, Hewitt, etc. Organizations use commission method by either engaging the services of a professional firm or carrying it out themselves. The information collected through external compensation surveys is more reliable and valid because these consultants are expert in their fields. Methods of compensation of external survey. There are three methods of external surveys, namely job title method, job description method, and job evaluation method. Under job title method, organizations which conduct external compensation survey collects information about level, structure and system of compensation from other organizations on the basis of job title. The information is searched, collected and categorized on the basis of positions like fitter, HR manager, maintenance manager, etc. After collecting and tabulating the information, it is then compared with the organization's own compensation level, structure and systems for managerial decision making. This method is very simple and easy to adopt. However, information collected through this method may not be very accurate and consistent because the nature of duties, tasks and responsibilities for each job in an organization is different from jobs in the other organization. For example, the job profile of a fitter in a casting unit will be different from the job of fitter in a pharmaceutical unit. Different types of organizations have a different work environment, skills and other requirements. Job title method is more suitable for the jobs which are standardized in terms of profile. Under job description method, information about level, structure and system of compensation is collected on the basis of job description. The information is searched, collected and categorized on the basis of similar job descriptions. The information so collected is then tabulated and compared for managerial decision making. This method is more accurate than the job title method because contents of jobs are quite similar and comparable. Differentials in compensation between the organizations are due to the job profile and can be easily tracked. The job evaluation method is better version of job description method. Descriptions are collected for jobs in other industries, then the jobs selected are evaluated with the same technique as used by other organizations. If the total points obtained by the similar jobs in other industry are the same as the ones for the organization, then the jobs are deemed identical and a comparison for these jobs can be made. This method is very accurate, but one of the biggest limitation of this method is that it consumes a lot of time and therefore very few organizations use this method of compensation surveys. Steps involved in conducting compensation surveys are selection of the job to be surveyed, collection and evaluation of information on all jobs can be very costly, time consuming and difficult. Therefore, organizations collect information on some representative jobs from which it will be possible to draw the compensation curve. The representative jobs are known as benchmark jobs or key jobs, and therefore, these should be selected very carefully. Following are some important points which needs to be taken care of. These jobs must be distributed over the entire range of jobs. These jobs must have been same in the past few years. These must exist in the competitor's organization or in the market. These should be managed by a large number of employees and there should be adequate manpower. Defining the relevant markets. Products and service markets should also be considered because multiple markets may exist for organizations in which organization has to compete for labor. Separate analysis of organization compensation will be needed if organizations shift to skill or competency from structures. Relevant market includes similar organizations with same occupation and similar skill requirements. The geographical distance between employees are able and willing to commit. Organizations manufacturing similar products. Selection of the organization to be surveyed. Organization selected for conducting compensation survey needs to be comparable in terms of geographical location, size, ownership, philosophy and competitive priority. For example, a textile industry should select other textile organizations of similar size in the nearby location. But sometimes it might be very difficult to select similar organization in the local area. Therefore, in such situations, similar organization in other location or states can be selected for collecting survey information. Careful planning needs to be done before collecting data from the field because the information so collected through surveys is the basis for comparison. Information is generally collected through well-designed and pre-tested questionnaires. Staff which collects the data should be well trained in advance. Normally, certain informations are collected through compensation survey that includes name of company, nature of industry, employee strength, services provided. Results of compensation surveys can be obtained from internet. However, employees might feel dissatisfied if the data related to compensation is leaked out. Broad banding. Under this compensation technique, different compensation categories are reduced to broad compensation bands. It involves changes in classification, compensation and performance appraisal methods. Under branding procedure, jobs having similar characteristics are grouped together. Some of the characteristics used to group jobs are exempt versus non-exempt, professional versus non-professional, technical versus non-technical, etc. Then these groups are given ranks and each group is then placed in a compensation band. To integrate broad banding effectively into a compensation system, every organization should support organizational strategies, motivate employee involvement, encourage team performance, create an effective economic partnership. Whenever any employee is recruited or promoted, then his compensation is set at levels in broadband deemed to be appropriate according to his skills, qualifications, experience, etc. Compensation of employees is increased through broadband if they perform well. Under broadbanding, compensation of employees is increased on the basis of their performance rather than progressing up through a grade by steps based on time in the grade. To summarize the discussion, flexible workforce has become a significant element in present times employment market. It includes part-time employees, temporary workforce, leased employees, contractors, work from home employees, freelancers and consultants. Studies reveal that most of the employers use some or other form of flexible staffing arrangements. Organizations follow this trend to catch up with the rapidly changing demands of the business and fluctuating supply of right kind of workers at right place. Such flexible arrangements give organizations a liberty to meet their production needs more efficiently. This setup also allows settling labor issues related to geographical and cultural diversity. On the other hand, workers are at ease of their comfort zone and can enjoy their desired flexibility while earning handsome compensation. To conclude, it can be said that it is a win-win situation for the organization as well as workers and economy. Flexible workforce gives privilege to the overall economy. It also provides organization an opportunity to design their workforce dynamically to meet the ever-changing requirements of the global workplace. This system gives ample opportunity to workers on one hand and provides a stable working environment to employees on the other hand. Under broad banding, the compensation technique, different compensation categories are reduced to broad compensation bands. It involves changes in classification, compensation and performance appraisal methods. Under broad banding procedure, jobs having similar characteristics are grouped together. Some of the characteristics used to group jobs are exempt versus non-exempt, professional versus non-professional, technical versus non-technical, etc. Then these groups are given ranks and each group is then placed in a compensation band. Happy learning!